where do you even start? Where do you even start to talk about this this, man? God. Halloween ends. One can only hope. There's gonna be people who go into this and love it. There's gonna be people that go into this and hate it. There's gonna be people that kind of feel indifferent about it right in the middle. I kind of knew where this was heading the second I heard that this Legacy Halloween saga was a trilogy. Was it so hard to just keep it at one movie? Was it really that hard? Alright, so 4 years after her last encounter with Michael Myers, Laurie Strode, played once again by Jamie Lee Curtis, is living with her granddaughter and trying to finish up a memoir that she's writing. And Michael hasn't been seen since, so Laurie finally decides to liberate herself from rage and fear, as we saw in Halloween Kills, and she just embraces life. She's just living. But when a young man named Corey stands accused of murdering a boy that he was babysitting, it ignites a cascade of violence and terror that forces Laurie to confront the evil she can't control. I want you to take one look at this poster again real quick. Who are the two central characters you see there? Of course, Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. The whole idea of this series, the whole rivalry that's been building to this one moment. And that's the biggest praise I can give Halloween Ends, is actually the ending. Of all things, they actually got the ending correct. The last 20 minutes of this movie were downright brutal. The last 20 minutes of this movie could be emotional at times. And it was kind of a heartfelt goodbye to these characters that we all loved. And I loved these characters. I know I started off this video like just completely in the dark here, but don't get it twisted. I am a big Halloween fan. The original Halloween by John Carpenter is still one of the most influential horror movies of all time. This movie that came out a few years ago, I had a lot of fun with it. And then Halloween Kills came out last year, which I own, and, you know, it's a nice little montage of violence, I guess, but it's not really a whole lot else. This movie, aside from the ending, and aside from Jamie Lee Curtis's performance, it's just boring. Like, how do you make a Halloween movie boring? Oh no, strike that. That's been done before. But this whole setup with Corey and all this new character that they introduce with a very chilling opening, it's... As soon as Laurie Strode's granddaughter becomes involved with Corey and starts seeing him, I'm like, oh boy, I kind of see where this is going. Now listen, I'll give these filmmakers all the credit in the world for at least trying something different with a Halloween movie. I am all about uniqueness, but at least make the uniqueness interesting. I did not think these two characters had any sort of chemistry whatsoever, and just the arcs that these two go through together is just so incoherent. Corey's eventual evolution, which is just so freaking obvious the second you look into his eyes. And then Allison, oh my gosh, this granddaughter, especially after her arc in Halloween Kills, she has one outburst where she just snaps at Laurie, and it basically just kind of nixes her whole arc in Kills. Like, didn't you go through this trauma too? And God, guys, the deeper I just went down this rabbit hole, it was... I mean, I don't want to say this is like one of the worst movies of the year because it is well shot, okay? Some of these kills are very inventive. It does have a callback to its predecessor, Halloween Kills, for sure. There is one brutal murder in a radio station which I just winced at the screen in terror. It was so gross. Which is honestly what a Michael Myers movie should be all about. But that's the other thing. Again, the poster advertises Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode decides to live her life in peace up until the ending, and Michael Myers himself barely in this movie. Any hardcore fans of Michael Myers, anyone who's into his, like, unkillable monster antics, very fiendish antics like I am, I find it really fascinating how this guy can just keep coming back to life. And just the fact that that's never explained makes him all the more terrifying. How does this guy keep coming back? But no, he's barely in this movie. Big old gigantic bait and switch. And part of me kind of understands why they focused on these newer characters for the most part. It's kind of honestly like, I don't want to say it's leaving the door open for another Halloween movie because that's preposterous. They said Halloween Ends. But I get why this is a trilogy. This studio sees this as one of the most profitable movie franchises of all time. If you remember, that original Halloween movie was only shot on $375,000 worth of a budget. And its box office return was insane in the 1970s. So the financial part of me definitely understands why this movie exists. And I give these writers credit for trying to salvage it and make it worthwhile. But man, up until that third act, that final 20 minutes, this is a chore, guys. I'm gonna give Halloween Ends a D+. This is a jack-o'-lantern carving you really do not want to dig into. Now, is this really the final Halloween movie? Let's let Michael Myers rest, at least for a while. I will believe that this is the final Halloween movie when I am sitting here 40 years later in front of this camera. Actually, no, not in this same exact spot and not in this camera. I will believe it when I am a senior citizen and I am still talking to you beautiful people 40 years later and there's no Halloween movie in sight. Then I will believe it. But the way this movie ends, a great ending certainly would have had me convinced. And one more thing, while I'm on it. How come this couldn't have just been one movie? I mean, I get it, right? You know, the money. But I feel like if you tacked this final 20 minutes onto the 2018 Halloween, I think you would have had a perfect horror legacy movie. One of the greatest, if not the greatest horror legacy movie ever. But missed opportunity for financial gain, my friends. What did you guys think of Halloween Ends? Let me know what you thought down in the comments section below. What is your favorite Halloween movie of the bunch? Probably not any of the Rob Zombie ones, if I'm being honest. Joking aside, guys, I love discussing all things in movies and entertainment with you guys on the regular, as good or as bad as they may be. So, if you're new here, do consider becoming a subscriber. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. That would be a tremendous favor as well. And stay tuned, my friends. I've got a lot of exciting videos hitting the channel very, very shortly. I do have the Evil Dead review in the pipeline in addition to the rest of this year's Halloween special. And I can't wait to reveal the rest of those titles up into the big day. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. With all that being said, back talk, commence!